We just the allegiance and all that good stuff. Yeah. Kathy, did you print out the agenda itself that I preferred? Or just the agenda items?
Since the agenda.
Oh, that's the agenda item. That's okay. I got that. I can grab it. Yeah, that was the agenda item, not the agenda. There wasn't much to it. There's only 4 things. So.
So frankly, that's your summer vacation.
No, we really responded to birth of a godchild. And we decided to take advantage of France because we won't stop. We wanted to do a ferry over Belfast, which is easy.
Yes, Councilmember Rodriguez.
Sorry.
The crew is complete.
Sorry for the tardiness.
No, you're fine.
They didn't start without you, Commissioner. Good morning.
Now we've got some ambitions for this summer.
I'm broken up.
We're getting ready to start, Chair Garcia.
Which we do this week.
Here's the agenda.
In 2 weeks in San Diego. Or next week is National Cancellation, maybe say 7 minutes. The week after that, we get back to that, I'm going up.
Can I get you in your cohort?
Then I'll be back.
Yes.
Then
They're
I'll
all
go up
healthy,
to
no seed oils,
Toronto to
no
vacation.
fake stuff, no fructose.
I like the sound of Maine. Where do you go?
It's all very healthy.
We're good for 9 days. We're done. So we're going 5 in Boston.
All right.
1 night in Portland, 2 nights in Booth Bay Harbor, 2 nights in Camden, and 2 nights in Boston.
Nice.
Actually, I have that backwards, but we're driving from Portland all the way to Bar Harbor, and then we're heading down until we get to the airport.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. And then we're spending 7 nights in Toronto, but probably only 3 or 4 in Toronto. The rest will be, day trips.
Got a friend reunion in Brunswick this.
We had it down to either the Maritimes or Toronto, but we've been to the Maritimes before. We've never been to Toronto.
There you go. Should we do this?
Yes, please, and there you see, we have the chair online,
Okay,
so we need to just turn them on.
we're in order. We're
Right,
convened.
we need to deal with the pledge of allegiance and the roll call.
Can we do that?
Let's start that. Isabel, can you help me with this as we get organized over here? And get the vice chairman to this.
Pledge allegiance to the
Flag of the
United
United
States of
States of
America,
America, and the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible.
Hearing people recite different speeds is throwing me off.
Kathy, can you run us through the roll call real quick?
Albritton,
Present.
Kaplan,
Here.
Cates.
No, I'm sorry, we only have the
I
committee
didn't know if
members.
you wanted me to do
No, I
all
don't think,
of them.
no, I think we can just do the committee members, and we've got 2 members on here.
Geller,
Here.
Rodriguez. Here.
There.
Garcia,
There.
and then we have Datwin and Armando Villalobos.
Renee, you're on mute.
I'm back.
Mr. Chair and those present, I'm going to intervene just for a moment if I can. This is a committee which is legally established by the chair. It is referred to specifically in the backup as the membership committee. It is a committee which can take action, make recommendations, which is what the statement of organization permits and allows. You have a physical quorum for this discussion, including all the members present, Commissioner Rodriguez, Commissioner Senator Geller, Commissioner Kaplan, and Commissioner Albritton. And to the extent possible, can take action to review those matters on the agenda and make recommendations to the full board through the chair, who was established legally this committee for purposes of review and consideration for membership issues and membership matters that are set forth in the backup. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you so much for that, and I appreciate that. I appreciate always being so thorough and walking us through the proper protocol. So, Isabel, can you help us walk through this right now, please?
Yes, sir. Yes, Chair. So, Mr. Chairman and council members, ours is a very small agenda. we already had the pledge of allegiance, a roll call, and we're just gonna discuss, SFRPC membership and some of the challenges we're seeing as the, organization times continue to evolve. And then that will be followed by public comments if there are any, and we will adjourn.
Move that we poach Palm Beach. Just kidding, Palm Beach. Just kidding. I mean, we'd like to, but.
So thank you. So, you will recall, all of you were there at the joint council meeting that we had earlier this year with Treasure Coast, that they have a different system of membership than we had. While we were there, we saw that they had alternate members. And, I will just briefly go through, and I think that's a good thing for us to consider, having alternate members, so we'll get to that. Just by way of background, and of course Sam could do it better. The Regional Planning Council was created by interlocal agreement in 1974. The interlocal agreement, this was part of your package, Exhibit A, laid out the membership of the council. It basically says that the counties, the Broward County, I think actually at that point there were 6 of us, but anyway, that Broward County appoints 3 county commissioners, Miami-Dade County appoints 3 county commissioners, Monroe appoints 2 county commissioners, and then the governor can, well, in the interlocal is that, and then that the municipal appointments are made by the municipal leads. This is a different model. There's 10 regional councils, every council is different. This is what ours says. I don't know that this talked about governor's appointees. That might have been later on
In the
the road.
statute, yes.
Yeah, in the statute. So, that's the way our appointments go, and in the statute, the governor appoints 6. A quick way to just shortcut to this, if you go to the agenda item that I have, the green sheet, this pretty much describes what are the key documents. For us, the statement of organization has over time, and Sam will correct me if I'm wrong, the statement of organization has over time incorporated the current lay of the land as it comes to membership. And our statement of organization talks about membership, voting, terms, removal from office, etc. So the situation that that we've observed is that we have, I think a challenge. We have great serving county commissioners that will be term limited very soon. So among them, Commissioner Furr from Broward, and then we will have Senator Geller term limited out to
I'm 2028.
2028.
So would I,
You're 2028 as well?
yes.
Well, it's even more dire. So
I'm 2028 as well.
and you're 2028 as well. Extremely dire. So I think that, and also we have some counties participate more than others. Obviously, we're in Broward, so I think that helps facilitate participation. Miami-Dade for years, it's a mixed bag. Well, let's just say that we haven't had full participation from Miami-Dade for a while.
Isabel, can we do this? I think everyone understands we are in a dire situation because we have a lot of term limiting, and we have to look at what we do best for the longevity of the organization itself. Right now, for us, what are our rules of appointment? What's in store right now? Sam, can you go through that? How do we appoint folks right now to our how do we get members on our organization right now on our board?
We don't.
The chair does.
No. The county commissions
Yep.
choose, and I think we had that issue, Senator. We had that issue where our bylaws were in conflict with the county commission, at least in Broward, because we said, and Sam, I don't remember how we resolved this. I assume we changed ours.
We did.
But because ours said that you're appointed for a 2 or 3 year term, but the practice in Broward was the incoming mayor would appoint whoever he wanted. So that was a conflict with our bylaws. So Sam, have we resolved that? We changed our bylaws or?
I don't think we actually physically changed them, but we simply acceded to the requirements or the policies of the county commissions that made their appointments.
Yeah. So it's.
To make sure you maintain consistency with membership and didn't lose members because of a misinterpretation.
Yeah, so it's not really our choice as to how the counties pick, or I don't think it's the municipal. I think we say that is required to be an appointment from the league. Is that correct?
Right, so in our municipal members are appointed by the League of Cities and
In
they,
each county.
Miami-Dade appoints Monroe because they don't have they don't have a League of Cities in Monroe County by themselves, so 5 municipalities. So they're part of the Miami League, and then Broward League City appoints here, and then the mayor or the chair in Miami-Dade
Right.
are the ones that make the appointments from the commission to the council. And then the governor appoints, but the governor has chosen not to exercise his appointments over more than 8 years.
Can I, Mr.
Yes,
Senator?
absolutely.
Okay, I just want to be clear what we are and aren't doing. We're not dealing with our, with our bylaws or anything other than, if we think we might need a change for continuation purposes, but we're really, I think today, just talking about how we get other people involved in that. And I know that, when I was coming in, there were a lot of people that questioned why we still needed a regional planning council.
Right.
Because I'm old enough to remember back when the regional planning council actually had power. It used to be that if there was, I'm going to ask Sam. Sam, we used to have statutory authority when there were conflicts between local governments on multi
Jurisdiction.
Can
You have
you
permitting,
elaborate?
such permitting power, as well as the authority to appeal decisions to the governor and cabinet as the Florida Land and Water Adjudicatory Commission, the
I've appeared in front of
better known as FLOAC, which this organization had the right to do, particularly when DRIs lived to be considered by the council. There's only one left, as you all know, which is being handled through an agreement under state statute. The end result of which is the legislature took some prerogatives and changed some of the rules that relate to how things are done, but did not relieve the council of certain other statutory responsibilities. So
that was meeting, but the only actual responsibility that we had, and it was a real and substantial power, the legislature took away under, I think it was Governor Scott, because they did not want us to have the ability to impede development. He was a develop at all costs person, so they took away that authority, but still required us to exist. So a lot of people said, well, if we have no authority any longer, why do we exist? And I was determined, and I think we made that change, that we should go with what's in our name. We should be doing the regional planning. And that's one of the reasons why I had insisted that we have the joint conferences with the TCRPC and have a conference just up with the SFRPC, because we don't have any other we still have to exist, but we don't have any statutory authority anymore. So I said we should be doing that. Under Isabella's able leadership, we've done a lot of studies to assist local governments. And we've also set up our revolving loan fund. We have both our own and the COVID one.
Right, we have a very successful brownfields program.
Right, but these are things that we've just had to do to try and figure out how to stay busy. So I think that one of the things we need to do is keep doing our regional planning that we've done. And Isabel, if you could run through some of the mayor's, the affordable housing, the conference, we've had all of that. I think that's been important. We have to do that. But Senator, I'm going to ask you, how do we get Dade more involved. I can tell you in Broward, assuming she wins, I think that Carol Shuham, assuming that the mayor will appoint her, but I would strongly recommend that to him. I think she'd be an excellent member. Udine, who's been pretty active with us, he's also turned out in 28.
Well,
Udine and I
that
were,
helps out all of Broward.
yeah,
County Commissioner.
right. All of Broward will be gone by 2028, but I think that we can get other people there that would be active. Senator, how do we get Dade active?
Let me ask you this then. Look, I recognize the amazing work that we've done. And Isabel, and under your leadership, Senator, I really do thank you because you really kept this organization going and really try to bring our municipalities and bring Dade, Broward, and Monroe together like it's never been done before. So I do appreciate you. And I think we all recognize the value of our organization in trying to foster relationships that are extremely important, and especially with the studies that we do and provide to our different municipalities as it relates to regional issues. Because the regional issues are, we all very well know they're regional for a reason. They affect us all a little bit differently in different ways, but we're all affected. This is why I think it's important for us to continue to move the progress that we have been doing up till now. Your question on how do we get Miami-Dade County more involved? When it comes, let me ask before I answer that. I guess the answer is trying to get talk to more of these guys. But on the membership itself, does it have to be commissioners? Could it be city folks? Who can the chairman appoint?
If I could jump in, Chair. I think what we need to do is be building a new base of support.
Right.
To your question, the statement of organization is very clear, and that the county commission, the mayor or the chair will appoint county commissioner. So it's not, no other elected official can step in for a county commissioner. But what I would offer for consideration of the board, if we create a system of alternates, non-voting, who would vote only if the principal member was not in attendance, that would be a way of expanding participation by county commissioners and municipal elected in double.
Isabel, if I may, so this is where I want to go. So what flexibility, let me ask you this, let me state the question different. What flexibility do we have in the membership? I understand that the county commission now has to appoint, or the chairman, especially Miami-Dade County, appoints its representatives to our organization. I get that part. Can, when we talk about alternates, can we change those bylaws for that itself? If we have a commissioner and then an alternate, who would appoint that alternate? Would it also be the county, in our case, would it also be the county commission, or can an organization appoint an alternate for that person?
Well, that's interesting. I guess if you change your bylaws.
I'd like to ask our attorney.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what flexibility do we have within the state structure that mandates that were created under the state. What flexibility do we have with our bylaws as it relates to appointments? That's where I think that's the answer that we need, so we can try to collectively do this together.
Then Renee's question is outstanding, and it comes to the heart of it. Does the statute mandate that the county commissioners be on it, or can that be amended without violating state statute? Although Renee, remember, the county's the one that's paying.
Right.
So, if you appoint all city commissioners, I guarantee you, county will just let the payments drop. But
if we look, the statute's Exhibit C.
okay.
If you want to look at Exhibit C. But one of the things that I consider, where I think is a primary objective to consider, our dues come from the 3 counties. So we need to have a solid base of support in the 3 counties always. So my thought would be that if you had alternate county commissioners, non-voting from each county. So, for example, Miami-Dade would have 6 commissioners on the regional council, 3 alternates, 3 primary. If the primary doesn't show up, then the alternate has an opportunity to vote. The same in Broward, the same in Monroe. And that's one way of introducing new county commissioners. And no disrespect to the municipals, but I'm thinking about the funding for the council as it is today. That's a way of bringing new county commissioners to the board, introducing them to the work of the council, and perhaps priming them to be a new primary member when the existing member is term limited or goes out.
That's good.
In the same way that you are hoping to kind of introduce other county commissioners into this,
Right.
expanding it, I think it's really important to make sure that you are considering, at least maybe not in the appointments, but in education and outreach to things like League of Cities and to municipalities,
Mhm.
because the people who are sitting in municipal seats currently will likely be the people who run for
For the
county
county
commission
commission later.
seats.
Mhm.
And so my first train of thought in kind of, as we say in like the more like political terms, building the bench. If we want a very active council with county commissioners, you have to, work within the county commission structure, but work backwards as well and make
Yes.
sure that you are reaching out to individual cities. Obviously, Jim and I are here and we participate very heavily on League of Cities, but I don't think our counterparts on League of Cities for directors, for example, in the for the directors meetings know much about this, and we don't really get a chance to speak about this, even though we're representatives from the league. But if we can invite the council to come speak at a future directors
Absolutely.
meeting and do the same in Miami and Monroe, and then just like so that people start talking on the municipal level, and then once their county commissioners like, hey, I heard about this council, like we all talk with one another
Mhm.
in this like, between municipalities and county. And so to encourage it from like kind of like the back end for anyone to kind of bring it up and for county commissioners to be more incentivized to participate as well.
Let me ask you this, if I may.
Mhm.
I think before we proceeded, maybe I'm missing something. But Sam, can you tell us what are our rules of engagements as it relates to appointees? I understand that the appointees come from the county. I get that, the county commission. But what is the flexibility that we have right now, and what abilities do we have through a change in bylaws to change that? Our state statutes right now tying our hands as to who can be appointed or not. And Isabel, I understand that we have to be careful. We have to be very sensitive to the fact that the funds are coming from the county commission. So I get that. I don't want to upset any county saying, oh, we're bypassing you guys and going to the municipalities. But at the end of the day, the chair has the ability to appoint, in our case, in Miami-Dade County, has the ability to appoint the membership. I'm trying just to figure out what parameters we have right now so we could proceed forward, because we do have to start bringing more folk into this conversation, getting them to know who we are. And I just want to know what parameters, what are we, Sam? What can we and what can't we do? And if we can't do something, is it a bylaw change that needs to be done? Where are we with all this?
And
It's 2A and 2B, and I'd like to hear our attorney.
All right.
If I respond, Mr. Chair and council members, the statute, which is in chapter 186, used to be chapter 160, which was modified some years ago. It is the controlling law that controls regional planning councils. Interestingly, even though there may have been some degradation of the authority of the councils over the years, there are still statutory obligations that were never removed and
Mhm.
never degraded, including comprehensive plan reviews and any number of things which authorizes the council to do its public business. But the statute is the beginning of the conversation. The beginning of the conversation tells us under section 2 itself that membership on the regional planning council shall be. It's not maybe, it says shall be, it's a mandate.
Right.
And ultimately, in a perfect world, you'd have 19 members sitting here at a regular meeting where you'd have 3 county commissioners from Broward, 3 from Miami-Dade, and 2 from Monroe. You'd have 6 governor's appointees. You would have 6 municipals as well. So what the statute tells us is that you're authorized, yes, exactly. 19 is your membership under the terms of the statute. What the council did back in 1974, and with 2 minor amendments that occurred later thereafter, essentially is that's the membership total, and the bylaws, as you may remember, which are your statement of organization. Historically, what they were called was in Rule 29J. It was part of the Florida Administrative Code that was established 100 years ago. And then the statutes changed and authorized, and not just authorized, but directed that regional councils statewide convert 29J into a local rule, their own rule. And you all converted from 29J, the FAC, to the statement of organization, which is in the backup today for your review. And that statement of organization has to follow the statute with some exceptions. And
Sam, I don't see where the statute mandates the number of people.
well, it actually does, because you have to read the statute in conjunction with our statement of organization.
But we could change our statement of organization.
Well, getting there, I promise.
Sure.
So if you look at the statute, which has a mandatory membership item therein, that it does not, in my opinion, specifically preclude or impede the ability of the council to make some decisions within its own statement of organization. Is it creative? Yes. Is it a violation of state law? I don't believe so. But unfortunately, we can't change the statute without going to Tallahassee. And I'm going to say something which may be there or there, but I want to say it. If you look at the Treasure Coast Planning Council's item in the backup, they actually amended their own statement of organization by interlocal agreement. I'm suggesting that if you chose not to take this back to the 3 county commissions for changing, which would be a precise way perhaps of taking to the taking the answer, it would be within the authority of the council to manage this issue as best you can through the statement of organization, unless there was some desire to take it back to each county commission. And I'm going to say this because I can, and I'm your lawyer. The risk is that we take it back to the county commission, they may see the world differently than you do today or tomorrow. So I think you still control the ability to make some changes, limited as it may be, particularly to maintain the viability of the organization and to provide for public participation under state law.
I think if the goal that Senator Garcia was talking about was to expand the membership or add, I can tell you we would have 0 problem getting that through Broward County.
Interlocal agreement.
Yeah, Senator Garcia, and I think if we have 2 of the 3 counties, that's sufficient, correct?
No.
No,
All 3
I have no idea what Monroe would do.
Well, I can't predict the answer as well, but I can tell you that the 3 counties are in fact designated by state law as being part of the RPC for South Florida.
Yeah, I know, I'm not talking about kicking Monroe out.
No.
I'm saying if the goal was to say that
Be
we
careful.
and get 1 more representative or alternates from Dade, Broward, and Palm Beach.
And also from the leagues.
And from the leagues, and Monroe said no, just because they're being ornery. But Dade and Broward agree. Can we do that, or do we need unanimity? On if it's an interlocal agreement, I think we need unanimity.
You would need unanimity, but we don't live in a perfect world legally either. And the end result is I would look at that more carefully. My instincts are to suggest that both counties approved and the 3rd chose to stay the course. It would not be out of the organization, but would have to yield to those that took the position.
Okay.
But that's an open issue for you all.
Senator Garcia, if we added, right now, you're basically the only one that attends when there's 3 counties. If we expanded that to 4 or 5, or we kept it at 3 and had 2 alternates, I doubt any of the alternates would attend. It certainly, if the commissioners aren't attending, does it, in your opinion, because I have no idea of the politics of Dade, the Dade Commission, if we had 4 instead of 3, or we had 3 plus 2 alternates, would that entice anybody else to attend? Or if they were going to attend, they'd already be attending and would ask to be one of the commission representatives?
I think it's worth a shot. I think just it's unfortunate that, well, look, let me take a step back. Who are our appointees right now? Who are our board members from Miami-Dade County?
It is
And,
Councilmember Gilbert, Councilmember McGee, and yourself. Mr.
okay,
Chair.
so Gilbert right now resigns. It becomes effective January. So maybe what I can do is talk to the chairman. Can I, the sunshine, can I, well,
Yeah,
I
you
can
can tell
talk,
that's-
I guess I could talk to the chairman about that, because this is an external board.
Right.
He does the appointee, okay, so I just want to make sure that I'm okay with that. All right, so maybe we can, I could work on that, and when you look at, I think there'll be some folks. To your point, adding a fourth one may help, yes, let me do that. I think by adding a fourth from Dade County right now, because we're looking at two of the appointees right now who are very busy in their world. They're friends, and it just may be a little difficult to come up to Broward, sometimes. But
It's challenging.
regardless, I think yes, and maybe adding a fourth could be helpful. But my whole goal is, look, I like the idea of trying to entice local governments, getting more folks from the local governments involved. I know we sometimes have battles with the county and the locals, just the same way the county has battles with the state has a battles with the feds. It's just something that's always going to be part of the political process that we live in. But I just want to make sure that we have the pipeline for people the pipeline that will keep this organization moving forward. Yes.
I have a question.
Yes, go
Maybe
ahead.
this is for Sam. Would there be a possibility and obviously interest on the county commission to appoint as an alternate, not other county commissioners, but municipal leaders within their districts? It goes back to a little bit of building the bench. If these county commissioners, because I know you guys are always thinking about it, eventually I'm out of office, I would like to kind of boost this person to participate in some way. Because reading on the 2A, it just, reading 2A says, representatives appointed by each of the member counties in a geographic area covered by the regional planning council. Does that limit us to it being county commissioners?
I have an answer to that. So.
That's a great question.
Through the chair,
Yes.
it really depends what the board wants to do in large respects. Some regional councils have in their bylaws that the county commission appoints the municipal person. Okay, instead of the League of Cities. Okay, so I believe that's actually maybe even in the Treasure Coast bylaws. Some councils have that the dues are paid by the county and by the cities in different ways. Logistically, that would be pretty challenging to have to collect 71 invoices in South Florida. But that's a thing too. So the point is, yes, depending on what you have in your bylaws, and I don't know if it's state or ideally you would want to update the interlocal agreement because that really is the foundational document, which is in the statement of organization. That would be up for y'all to consider. But yes, there are different models and I could bring that back.
And maybe it doesn't have to deal with then invoicing all of the cities, but my train of thought is if a county commissioner feels as though they can't attend, they can't, and
Yes.
and their other colleagues can't do so, but they themselves get to appoint this municipal person, then they still hold, it's in
Yes.
some sense the power of choosing who that person is.
I don't think you can do that because again, assuming I'll use the Broward model and date is the same. If the mayor selects 3 people and if one of them can't show up, I don't think that one person, Commissioner Smith, County Commissioner Smith can say, all right, since I'm not attending the meeting, I'm designating City Commissioner Jones, because that would take away the power
Of the
county mayor to be making the selection. First, can we agree the easy low-hanging fruit here is, and I think you have to still have the county as a majority because we're the ones paying the dues and you don't want a city county fight. The easiest thing to do is just change the bylaws to say instead of one representative from the cities, you have two representatives from the cities. And that can be done by either, we can say the League of Cities may appoint two, or the League of Cities continues to appoint one, and the mayor of the county can appoint one of their municipal bodies. I think you're better off giving the cities the authority to make that choice. But that's that's the easy low hanging fruit.
I like that. That's not a bad idea, but I want to explore the other thought as well, Senator, where a lot of boards that we belong to, you have the member that's appointed,
Right.
and an alternate.
Yeah, but
It's selected by them themselves, you know, like if
I've
the
never
state
seen
attorney
that.
can't go, she sends her representative and that representative votes for them. Does anything preclude that from happening? Because a county still retains its authority by having the county commissioner on there who just is designating someone else to vote for them, whether it's a municipal person or it should be a municipal person, obviously. The commission still, the county still retains its authority over that appointee. And if they're not doing well, they could get rid of that appointee.
Right.
Do
Senator, I think that there could be an internal issue, but the way of doing that, that to go with what you're talking about would be, how does this have that each county, Dave Broward, still have three appointed by the appointing authority, in each case the mayor. Secondly, instead of having one from the League of Cities, you'd have two. Third, you could have the county mayor appoint, because I think you have to leave the appointing authority with the mayor. You could have the county mayor say, I'm choosing a representative from an additional representative, municipal official, who will be the alternate. If any of our three commissioners don't show up, then you've got this municipal person as the alternate. I just think legally that if the mayor in each county is the appointing authority, I don't think legally their designee can sub-designate, because that takes the authority away from the mayor, while you can do it by just saying the mayor will pick an alternate who will be a member of, who will be a city commissioner. Plus, then you'd have the two.
If I could, through the chair, I just want to clarify, right now, Broward County has two municipal appointees, Miami-Dade has two, Monroe has one. No, one, two.
Are they both from the League of
Both
Cities?
from the League of Cities.
Under the Bible, under the.
So,
the-
no, it's not to say that,
We can still add one.
absolutely. All I know is that in 2018, no member of that from Broward County that's currently on this commission, and Sarah Garcia also, everyone will be doing something different. They won't be on this county, on the board, 2018, I'm sorry, 2028. So we have today, we have 2 years to figure out how are we going to have county commissioners in 2028 on this board, appointed by the counties, municipal officials, appointed by the city or whoever appoints on this board that will carry regionalism forward. And this is why I thought, and again, I'm perfectly fine, this is your organization. I thought that perhaps a path forward was to say to Senator Geller, well, you're not me, you know what I'm saying. In other words, if Senator Geller can't make it, which of course he always does, but if he couldn't make it, Commissioner fill in the blank would be able to come and be part of the meeting, or I don't know how it works out.
The problem is getting, right now, we're having problems getting three from the county.
Yeah.
And Renee has one from his county. I'm not sure adding a fourth spot when nobody is showing up does what we need. What I will make sure that after Commissioner Furr leaves, that we will have we'll have people in line to take over when I go and when Udine leaves. I'll make sure that happens in Broward. The problem is we're located in Broward, so that makes it much harder for Dade County people to want to come up to Broward than it is for Broward people to come to Broward. We recognize that. When you have a meeting in Dade, we have fewer Broward people attending, but we still don't have many people from Dade attending.
Right.
But the world changed when we changed the law.
Right.
So
Right.
now, even if, obviously, ideally, you want people in the room together, because it's a different,
Yeah.
if possible, okay? But when the law changed, now it's not like before when those poor souls from Monroe County, they used to drive up every month from Key West. Murray Nelson, David Rice, George Nugent. But now you just zoom in. You zoom in. So
Because of the change
it's
in
not the
statute.
same barrier to meetings. I'm not saying it's ideal, in person is better, but it's not the transportation problem, I don't think anymore. I don't think it's traffic anymore. Because anybody can zoom in.
Isabel, but if I may, it really is priorities as well, right? Do we really, it's just appointing the right people that really care about the organization and care what we do. And that sometimes it's harder. This is why it's just, this is where I was hoping that it would have been a little easier where the designee, if I'm an appointee, I can appoint an alternative, an alternate, an alternate that can, and usually that keeps the power within the county commission, because I'm still the commissioner, but I can pick someone from that has a lot more interest, or I can help someone grow. And when I say I believe in the organization itself, so it's not about me. Or me as Commissioner X can help a local commissioner get more involved with regional planning issues and gives them a flexibility, keeping the power still within the county commission. And if that member votes in a certain way against whatever the commissioner wants, the commissioner has a right to not have that. He should show up to the meetings. And also that's what this is why I'm trying to think. I wish there was a way that commissioners can appoint an alternate for them like we do in other boards. And if not, and adding like what Senator Geller is talking about, adding another member, we can add another member. It'll be great. But is that member going to have the interest that we all have in this organization? So that's where I just trying to figure out what the rules give us. Does the rule allow us to appoint an alternate?
May I say something? And then
Yeah.
I think what you just said is the most important thing that I've heard discussed this morning. Because it was different at different ages and stages. The representatives from Miami-Dade, for example, included people who participated very actively, and then they didn't. They're not different people. So the quality of the person's dedication, commitment, it seems to me, is highly relevant to confidence. The other thing that's happened, and you said it a little bit ago, the governor hasn't appointed anybody, and there's a whole category of required gubernatorial appointees. That hasn't happened forever.
So they should be up to 1/3 of the membership.
Correct.
I think we need to do a lot more in communicating why it is important to participate. If we can go, like I mentioned, to the League of Cities and to each county commission and say, hey, look at all the sexy things we've done. Don't you want to be a part of this? And we have maybe some time to garner that participation, because if, I only know this board because I used to work for like a county commissioner, but I don't think much of our municipal partners know all that much. And some of the county commissioners don't know all that much. And in educating them, making a really great presentation about the revolving loan fund, all the other things that while we don't have the ultimate power we used to have, there are still very important things going on. Maybe the thing that this set of county commissioners has heard is simply they don't have as much power anymore. Why do I go to the council? Why would I go to a council meeting? You need to remind them just exactly what the council does. Have them participate and build that leverage of doing a lot more. Please participate. And I understand what Commissioner Geller was mentioning about maybe even the power gets taken away from the mayor if the county commissioner then appoints. But could there be a recommendation from the county commissioner to the mayor as to who their alternative be? That might be
Certainly be okay.
that would be maybe a little bit way around it. So if you had an alternate, whether on the municipal or something like that, then you can mention to the mayor, hey, this is who I'd prefer my alternate to be, and the mayor still, in theory, holds the power, but you get to make that recommendation, and then they eventually make the proposition for that person to be the alternate.
As long as the mayor is the one that's doing the
Officially,
formal
yeah.
appointment,
Right.
that would be legal.
Just if I can, Mr. Chair, again, look back to the basic law. The law tells us what we described, which is the fact that the representatives from each member county, et cetera, from local purposes, it's a mandate that the commission make that appointment, and you can't delegate away what you can't allow. So a member can't independently make the delegation, but theoretically, if it was predetermined or it was a process established, the answer would be yes. We're talking here not about amending the statute, but amending our yes.
But Senator, I think that the problem with what you're saying is that if to do it that way, if I determine 3 days in advance that I'm not going to be able to make a meeting, I've had a court hearing come up. For me to contact the mayor, get the appointment done, the way I have never seen, at least in Broward, it worked that way. Every time we have alternates. So, for example, I was just recently appointed to the Emergency Medical Services Council. Somebody else also wanted to be on it. They were made the alternate by the mayor. So normally what we have, when we have alternates, we just, at our last meeting, had to appoint for the canvassing board. So the mayor appointed 2 commissioners and an alternate. That is always, at least in Broward, the way it's done, that the mayor, when they appoint alternates, and I don't know how it's done in Dade, but the mayor would appoint, when he's appointing the commissioners, he'll say, all right, Commissioner Smith and Commissioner Jones are the 2 members, and the alternate is normally County Commissioner Brown, but we could make it City Commissioner whoever. So if you want more city commissioners, I think that the best way of doing it is just ask the county mayor, when he appoints the members, which I think would have to be county commissioners, which we're the ones paying, could appoint a city commissioner as their permanent alternate. But that would be the alternate if any of the 3 members don't attend. Or theoretically, they could appoint 2 alternates if they wanted.
The principal problem, it seems to me, is engagement.
Yeah, I agree.
And I come back again to, the right person for the right, for the job seems fundamentally important to me. And it's hard to predict.
Correct.
But to create, kind of a culture of engagement, responsibility, there is value in this. And I think, people in the cities that I've served with, and I certainly feel this way myself, I perceive real value in attending, being here present, meeting you, working together through these problems, the self-education that's involved. I take all of that home with me to my city, and it's valuable. When there's a need for negotiations at the county commission level, working together on a board, I've had this with Mayor Cava. We worked together. It changed our ability to communicate on important and sensitive issues. I think we get that, but not every single person. So finding the people who will be responsible.
We need to do our own scouting about it too, I think.
That's why I recommended you for the board.
No, but I have, as you all were talking, and I am listening. I think, at least for Dade County right now, because I do report once, we have our regional meetings, I report some of the things that happen, but we don't have a standing standing item on the agenda to report everything that's happening, everything that's being done. I will talk to the chairman and see if we can, because then if you appoint, if there is a point in the agenda where some of these regional committees, you know, like not the Bright Line, like the Tri-Rail, they do a presentation or we do our own presentation, that motivates other members. Oh, wow, look, I can, you know, I think it motivates people, maybe for the wrong reasons, but I think it'll motivate folks. So I'm going to talk to the chairman to try to get something standing on our agenda, not just for the SFRPC, but for also for some of the other major regional committees that we represent on. I think that can help. But for the immediate purpose, I don't know. So let me ask, I'm gonna go back to this question again, and I don't know if it's been answered, and if it has, I apologize. So we cannot designate, me as a member cannot designate an alternate for me?
May I respond? I'm sorry.
Yes, please, Sam.
No, yes, Kim.
So,
Wait, let me hear from Sam first. Sam, can that happen?
maybe like here in the,
That's the treasure coast, correct?
that, yeah.
Right, and they did it by many ILA.
Right. Sam, can you answer?
The answer is that you have to look at the statutes, the base document. My view is the county commissions of each county in the South Florida region, they make their appointments, and that's typically made by the mayor.
That's my interpretation.
I don't know that
also.
a member who is good, is a positive thinker and thoughtful about how the business of the organization must be conducted can make a delegated decision without the benefit of the commission.
By the way, Senator Garcia, I think that your idea was
So the
brilliant.
answer is no. So the answer is no.
Right.
Sam,
but
I love your legal mind, but I'm not there. So
No.
answer is no.
I agree that the answer is no legally, but your part about bringing to the county commission the reports, I hope you don't mind, but I intend to plagiarize that and ask the Broward County mayor to do the same thing, because I think that's a very important. I have no idea what's going on frequently with, what is the regional transit group, not the RTA, and not the MPO, the South Florida.
SFRTA?
The SFRTA.
SFRTA, correct.
I generally don't know because we don't get reports what they're doing, and I don't give reports on what the SFRPC is doing. And so there's a lot of our members that are serving on important boards that really don't report back to us. So we don't know. So I think that's a brilliant idea. And if you don't mind, I intend to try and plagiarize it.
Yeah, perfect. You're plagiarizing something from me? It's always been the other way around. All right. So then, all right, so we'll do that on our end, you do that. So then now for our intent, for our purposes now, is about what does the Treasure Coast do? Is that the one that you've been talking about, right? Treasure Coast?
Right, so thank you, Chair. So it says, for example, if you look, when you have a chance, I think obviously this conversation is likely to continue. That's a little longer. So if you look at Exhibit E, you'll see where they have the membership, and you see that in their model, the counties appoint members. So 4A, which is on page 6 of Exhibit E, Indian River County, Martin County, St. Lucie shall be represented, blah, blah, blah. All members should be appointed from the county body. In addition, the principal member unit, which is the county, and they're entitled to appoint municipal members. So the idea is that you can sort of do it any way you want. You can change it.
No, but we can't do any way I want. Any way I want, we can't do.
If you write it down on a piece of paper and somebody adopts it, I guess it'll work that way.
Not if it violates the statute.
No, I know. Sorry.
Two things seem critical.
Yeah, so.
And then an idea that you expressed, I'm going to elaborate.
The municipalities okay there, or is that all county?
No, only the counties can. I'm sorry, in the Treasure Coast, but different places have
Yeah,
different
I know.
things.
It seems critical to have participatory people from the counties.
Mhm.
I think
At
that's
least
the
three.
biggest problem.
That's the biggest thing. I think there's value in expanding the city membership
Mhm.
and opening it up, but there are people who would be interested, who would love the opportunity to engage with this.
Right,
And they show up at the League of Cities, that's sort of a vetting process, because if they do that, they'll come here.
Yeah, if they're directors, I'm not sure down in Miami and Monroe how it works, but if they're directors already at the Broward League, you know that that's like the raise your hand, kind of participate in everything person within that
That's right.
council.
I see that.
Mhm.
The other thought, you had given me the idea of perhaps maybe there's value in inviting people from various community foundations to become members because they do stuff.
They can't be members.
Is that right?
It says they have to be elected officials
Yeah, they're not in this county.
in the
And that's the
statute.
statute.
That's the statute, yeah.
That's right. Sorry.
So now we get to the question of alternates. If you simply fill the room with people that go out into the community and actually get things done, those are those people.
I think an alternate also has to be a elected official.
If that's a showstopper.
Yeah. What I think, from what I've heard today from everybody, it sounds, first of all, like we should be adding one. Right now, it's 3 county commissioners, 2 municipal. You know, there's a problem with adding 3, making it 3 and 3 in case there's a deadlock between the cities and the county,
Oh, I see what
with
you're
the
saying.
county paying the money. But I'm not sure that how big of an issue that is, but it's something that we need to at least think about. But I think the biggest issue is, Senator Garcia, you need to recruit. I mean, I'll tell you, Broward has had 3 for at least the last 8 years that actually attend our meetings. I believe that when Commissioner Fur goes, whether it's Commissioner, I'm gonna ask Commissioner Fisher if he'd be willing to do it. He's great. Commissioner McKenzie would be very good, except he's going to be mayor. I don't know if he wants to do it while he's mayor, but he might. Commissioner Rogers, as a former legislator and former mayor.
There's good people.
There's a lot of people. Broward will have 3 commissioners attending. And if we want to arrange for an alternate, I think that's a good idea, although I think that has to be appointed by the mayor. And then approved by the commission. I think that works. So what I would suggest for immediate changes is, number 1, that we add a city commissioner appointed by the league. So it'll be 3 county, 3 city.
And then 2 in the room.
Yeah,
3 and 2.
and number 2, that we go with 4 county commissioners, actually 3, but appoint an alternate.
Okay,
So,
one alternate.
Right, 3 county commissioners, 1 alternate. That alternate probably should be a county commissioner, but if you want to make it a city commissioner, I think we can leave that up to the mayor of each county. But if you're looking for a farm team for county commissioners, you might want to.
This is a bit psychological, but I'll say it. I'm a little lukewarm about the idea of an alternate, particularly at the county commission level.
I don't think they'll ever show up.
It seems a diminished, marginalized kind of role.
It is.
Rather just expand the board, a full member.
If they're having problems in Dade with getting 3 people, I think getting 4 county commissioners is not going to be helpful.
That to me is the biggest challenge.
I think what Senator Garcia, you said one thing that was, again, I want to get back to, by the way, you're on mute. You said one thing, I think your idea of discussing what the Regional Planning Council and the others do is very important, that I think that will help attract county commissioners to attend. I think you have to do recruiting, like I'll have to do recruiting probably through the county attorney. No, there wouldn't be a member of the same board yet, theoretically, if I'm talking only SFRPC business. So I would have to recruit somebody else, take Commissioner First place. That will not be a problem, but Senator, you're gonna have to be our champion in Dade.
Got it.
I will help you, Senator.
We'll do it. I appreciate that. But how about this, the expansion part, because you're right. I mean, an alternate from the county commissioner may be diminished, seen as a diminished role, and I'm okay with it. But, if we just expand it, if you give that alternate, give me a minute, I wrote that, if that alternate, you give the power, in our case, the chairman of the board, give him the authority to appoint either commissioner or city councilman, a municipal leader, that municipal leader, I think, will take this more seriously. Just because of the nature of the mentality of the Miami-Dade County Board itself. However, expanding it, if we expand it to have some more local commissioners, city commissioners, and expand it by one for the county, I think that'll motivate more people to get involved at the local level. I don't know if I articulate that correctly or not, but I know what I'm thinking in my head. I don't know if it came out correctly.
It seems easier to me to motivate people at the city level than.
You're correct.
I agree.
I agree.
If I could finish it.
Isabel,
So just the other part of it, I'm not trying to put obstacles. So our bylaws do say that we're limited to 19 members.
It's capped by statute, provided by statute.
By statute.
Oh, then we can.
Well, it's.
But when and I'll take the mea culpa here. I mean, I have never seen this provision ever. It's in our bylaws, and it says, should a council member have 3 consecutive unexcused absences from regular meetings or miss more than 1/2 of the regularly scheduled meetings in a calendar year without a justifiable reason, which is sickness, disability, absence from the jurisdiction, excused absent, or required attendance at another public meeting. The secretary, who in this case is Councilmember Rodriguez, shall so advise the member of government and request another appointment. So there is a mechanism for requesting another appointment. No one ever wants to throw an elected official under the bus.
Why not?
that has
Particularly,
another elected official. Sorry.
Yeah, well,
we,
what I'm saying, there's,
I think I've been through this. We have to remove people that don't show up forever.
we talked about this several times, but it was always in respect of a gubernatorial appointee.
Right.
I don't think we've ever even had the conversation with respect to.
so,
We did, because this was on the League of Cities. Remember what we
I don't remember.
oh, I'm sorry, I may be getting this confused with the water board that I chair. The water board, we had people that were municipal appointees that simply never showed up. And I said, we cannot continue to have them because we're having problems making quorum because they never show up. And so I changed it to a mandatory removal. That if they miss 3 meetings and they haven't sought prior approval for, at least notify us, because candidly, anybody that notifies us that they can't make it will get an excused absence.
And that's worked in practice.
Right, but if they don't show up, they don't respond to our communications, they don't notify us that they're going to be absent and request an excused absent, remove them and appoint somebody else.
Yes. There are cases where there's not even a pretense.
So,
They don't contact us, they just don't show up.
That's right.
so I suppose,
Is it before you go there? Our state county members, do they even send communication?
no,
No,
Okay, so listen, I say let's move forward with that. Do an automatic, I think if someone, listen, you're appointed to this board and we are sending communication to you as when our meetings are happening, correct? Because I get them.
right,
Yes.
So we all know when this is happening. If they're choosing not to show up, then it's an automatic, it's not even political at that point. And automatically we go back to the chairman. You automatically are off the board and then we get a new appointee.
right.
so is, just for clarification, so would,
But you can't make it retroactive.
Well, should it be that you send everybody a notice that this is to remind you of the rules, please know that if this happens in the future, you will be automatically removed.
Yeah.
And then they can pick,
Sam, could you make that retroactive, or I think it's 3 after we change that we have.
You were on the committee, Senator, when the bylaws were revised in
Right.
2021.
Right.
And you added some very express language that was referred to by Isabel. And that last paragraph, members of, maybe, I'm looking at the red line copy because I keep it. Members may be removed from the council, and the added language by the legal appointing authority. So that was changed at the recommendation of the council, which made the appointment now only after written notice of such action has been, and the words that were changed from given to received by. And it basically caused it to happen. That's how it works.
So are they now automatically removed?
The answer is if these removal from office provisions, which are, again, those that were read into the record under 6.0 the rules, so long as the legal appointing authority has been received that notice, you may proceed.
That we remove them and the legal appointing authority gets to appoint.
Yes,
So that's already the case.
says that in the rule, but
but it says we have to notify the secretary shall so advise.
Yes,
So we
correct.
haven't notified.
No.
The appropriate member of government.
notification process.
Yeah, but if that's been the rule since 2021 and people have continued to miss meetings, we should immediately remove anybody who has missed 3 consecutive meetings. That's what our bylaws say.
It's self-effectuating.
Yeah, but I think I know we have to be careful, and I understand funding and county commissioners and battles that maybe take on with us. But I think we have to do it in a professional manner where we maybe just send the communication to the appointing authority, like the chairman of the board or the mayor. We need a new appointee. And I don't think we have to go because they haven't showed up or because based on our bylaws, there's an opening on our board now. We need a new appointee. I think that's what, can we do something like that?
I would think to do it with courtesy, leading with courtesy and good optics.
Right.
So,
Get your butt off of this board.
no, you're.
I know what you would say. I don't want to do that.
So, Chair Garcia. let's
I
say-
miss you.
Yeah, well, I know. So Chair Garcia, Chair Geller, so as an example. If you had not been able to attend for 3 consecutive meetings and had neglected to let us know why. Would you not prefer, I ask, me to send you a notification, dear council member, blah. Please know that you are currently in violation of this section of the statement of organization. And I can say nicely, I understand that you've been busy, but you are currently in violation of this statement. Please advise us if you have any intent to consider, if you plan to attend future meetings of the board. If we do not know, if we don't hear from you or you miss future meetings, I don't know, I'm trying to figure out a way to give somebody a heads up before abruptly saying you've been out.
If they've missed 2 meetings in a row.
Right.
That's the point that you should send them, hey,
At that point.
you missed 2 meetings in a row without notifying us.
Right,
And I'm just letting you know that if you miss 3 unexcused absences
right.
in a row, then under our bylaws, you're automatically removed. That way, even if they have no intention of ever showing up, they can at least say, hey, I've got a conflict. And that would start, I think that starts the clock over.
So you're gonna say the ship has sailed, so.
The ship is not, if you let them know after 2, the ship is
Well,
not
we can
yet
just
sailed.
let
We're
them-
warning you
So maybe now we
that we've
say.
started up the engines of the ship.
Yeah, let's do that. Look, right now for those 2 members, let's just send a letter and say,
You
look,
could just say, if you miss one more, please know that you will be.
One more unexcused.
Right, please know that this is the policy. Please know if you miss one more unexcused, if you have one more unexcused
Then
absence.
you're automatically removed. No, it's not that we pursue into our bylaws.
For Rodriguez signing.
But your thought about including a statement as, are you interested in continuing? That seems courteous.
Yeah.
I'm
I'll
looking
have
on that.
something for you all to look at, yeah.
Been having a baby excusable.
No,
I will be missing some meetings.
You, yeah,
Okay. It
We're
depends.
kicking it right now.
huh?
If you send baby pictures.
I'll send her.
Okay. I'm 67, I still.
Okay, so what is the
So,
will of the board? So now we know that we have to notify all our members who have unexcused absences that, we welcome the participation, but we need to know what their intent is. And that if we don't, if there's one more absence, we have no choice but to follow the rule of the bylaws and remove.
You might even
as per
refer
the-
to the fact of this committee and this meeting and this purpose, and that
I'm gonna
we
help
just
you.
can't tolerate no notice and no participation anymore because we can't conduct our business.
So we don't know what a future governor will do. But if you were to increase membership on the board, we would get past R19. So
Yeah,
we would
so
have to
we
change
could-
the
we-
bylaws.
well, Sam, you said it was.
But you said
statutory.
statute said 19.
If you add the, based on the ILA and based upon the representatives from the member counties, the answer is that it's 8 + 8 + 3 = 19.
But the statute
Doesn't give the numbers.
doesn't give them that.
So we could amend the ILA.
Theoretically, you could, and that would then set forth the conditions.
But right now, I think the best thing to do, based on our discussions, is just try and make sure that our members are working more to recruit.
And if they need
Right.
to see the value and why it's important to show up, we have to be salespeople.
Yeah, I think like when Senator Garcia brings, I don't know if you are gonna bring it up to your chair in private and they will implement, or if you bring up an item, but you should be there to, Isabel should be there to present as to maybe why, like that's a good opportunity for her to be invited to present it on an item. This is what
You're talking about the engagement. part.
the engagement part.
Yes.
Well, so if he's planning to do like, I'm gonna put it on the agenda that
Oh,
we
yeah,
should
I'd
do
be
a
there for
report,
backup.
then if you could be there for backup to say, hey, you know, as an example, this is the kind of stuff that we work on, and sell it to the county commissioners in that way, and I would hope that we could do that the same in Broward and
It's-
Monroe as well.
It's very challenging to go before the county commission because you literally have 90 seconds or something like
Well,
that.
not
have
if you
3
put in
minutes.
an item for presentation.
But you can't, that only the mayor can, I don't know Dade
Yeah,
County,
I
but
know
in
the-
Broward, no member can do that. The mayor controls the agenda.
Right, it's the chairman for us to the chairman of the board, yeah.
Yeah, and the mayor, because there are so many people that want to speak to us. On a typical thing, we'll probably have 60 or 70 items on our agenda. Most are on consent, but by the time we start at 10, by the time we're finished with proclamations, announcements and everything, it's already 11 o'clock. So we're very strictly limit the number of presentations from outside groups. Is that the same in Dade?
Yes, sir. Yes, same thing.
And the point of persuasiveness, it doesn't seem to me is best coming from the podium.
Mhm.
It's coming from colleagues talking to colleagues
Right.
on the dais.
I will say that might work at League of Cities. We can ask the new president to invite us for a future meeting.
Who's the new president? I know is
Dania Beach,
the mayor.
Oh, the mayor,
Joyce
Joyce,
Davis.
She's super nice.
and I'm sure she's looking for, at least because with all leagues, I think just recently changed who their presidents are. She's looking for things to bring up at the directors meetings, and I think either getting us,
I've met her
ideally we
before,
would get
too.
a general meeting, which is the evening ones.
Mhm.
And you've been to
I've
them.
been there before.
Presenting from, there, or if they can't, the schedule is a little bit more flexible on the directors meetings one. On the participation on that is a little bit more active, so either I think for the Broward League, I think that's an easy lift for us to participate in.
Yeah, Miami-Dade League, you still remember there.
Yeah, yes, and I would, I should go and speak about this.
Mhm.
I think one point that occurs to me that's not rooted in our agenda as much as just what comes from being part of this body is the brainstorming about preemption and some of the errant legislation that's coming out of Tallahassee and what your city is doing and what my city might be doing and talking with our commissioners. There's value in that.
Yeah,
Isabel,
Yes,
can
sir.
you prepare, and I know you've already done this, but just update it. Something showing all the things we've done over the last 5 years. the MER, this conference,
sure.
that conference, the mayor's conference on housing. If you look at what we've done over the last 5 years, it's an extremely impressive document that nobody but us knows about.
Yes, every year with the dues conversation, I'm always before sending an update on accomplishments during the year. So it'd be fairly easy to pull those together into a 5-year review. And also there's a lot of new work that's going on now. That Randy has been spearheading in terms of data research. The SEDS has really taken off with
Yeah.
leadership. The Blue Tech Conference coming up.
And ROI and all these conferences.
Right, the return on investment. So the return on investment really comes from the loan programs, because that's really where you can point to the dollars that are being brought down. And it's a good leverage of money.
But the other issue, which is still through the says, we are the economic development, and by the way, this doesn't really do as much as it sounds, but it sounds extremely impressive.
Oh, we do.
That we are the economic development district for the Economic Development Administration of the
US
Department of Commerce Small Business Administration.
No,
No, just the US Department of Commerce.
Economic Development Administration.
Okay, I said we were the
Commerce,
Economic
EDA.
Development District of the Economic Development Administration of the US Department of Commerce.
Correct.
Right, so that sounds incredibly impressive when we tell people if we approve a
you're
project,
welcome.
if something is working in conjunction with what we're doing, then that is likely to create additional likelihood of getting funded by the US Department of Commerce. That gets people very interested. By the way, I have a hard stop
I know.
around.
Actually, I was just gonna say about that. Let's figure out now where we are. All right, so now Senator Geller, you and I are going to push this to be a standing item in our agenda. We're going to talk about that. Are we looking to, actually, is there a motion to be entertained? How about that, Senator? How about, I'm going to go to you, see if there's a motion that we have.
Well, the only motion that I made earlier was to expand to add a city commissioner, but if we do that, we'd have to change our bylaws. And then the other thing was to appoint an alternate, which we decided against.
Yeah,
So let me ask before we make any motion, just the general opinion. Is it worth it to change our bylaws if all we're going to do is add one additional city commissioner?
well, no, it would be one additional county commissioner.
No.
Only,
Yeah, we're still gonna keep, because the problem isn't that we have three, the problem is we're not getting three to show up. So by removing them,
so why,
hopefully we'll get, so the question is, if we were to amend the bylaws, I think what I've heard, and I do listen, is that there's been some discussion about adding a third city commissioner appointed by the League of Cities. And is it worth amending the bylaw, the interlocal agreement, if that's the only change we're gonna make?
My instinct is something needs to change here. And I perceive real energy coming out of the cities.
so
potentially.
so that'd be 3, 3, and 2.
Okay, if that's the case, is there consensus on that? If so, we'll make that as a motion.
I'm okay with that.
Okay,
And there's also perhaps incidental value in coming back before the county commission to change something, because it brings the regional planning council
okay.
to the fore of the county commission attention.
Senator Garcia, I'd like to move that we
We can drop
seek
that.
to amend our interlocal agreement, which will require county commission approval, to add one member from the League of Cities or the equivalent thereof, because Monroe doesn't have one, but to change the number of city commissioners to equal the number of county commissioners in each of our 3 counties, and that's the motion.
I support and second that.
Okay, there's a motion and there's a second. I
And
think,
that is and if adopted, Mr. Chair, that would be a recommendation to the full council.
yes,
Yes, of course, that's what I meant to say.
I knew that.
Right, and if adopted, it still has to be approved by the three county
Yes, and
commissioners.
that's the three.
I love having two smart attorneys on the board. It's great and it complicates things. You guys are amazing. Thank you, guys. Yes, Sam, that's how I understand it. So yes, absolutely. I think that works. I know this was a long discussion, but I think it's something that was needed to have. So there's a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Right,
All opposed, like sign. The ayes have it. So
We're giving these equal vote to the county commissioners.
yeah, now that's,
We don't have to.
No, I don't see that anything would ever go wrong, but I'm just observing that you now have county commissioners having the same number of votes as
Right.
cities.
without the city's paying.
Just to restate the motion, if I can, through the chair.
I like cities.
You're doing the 3-3-2. So basically, each county would have
One additional.
one additional, so three.
Yeah, I said just match the number of county commissioners.
So that would be the
Three counties.
objective. That would be an interlocal agreement modification.
Right, now, I'm not sure that will pass through Broward, but we'll try.
let me ask you this then, Senator, on your motion, we have that already. And I know, but increasing it, because I think we'll get more local participation than we do from the county. But increasing it the county to 4 so we can keep the county's leverage, because we do pay, because I'm okay with the 3 and 3. I have no problem with it. And
I have no problem with making it 4 if you want to. I'm just saying if you can't get 3, making it 4 makes it even worse.
That might take away the perception that there's potential either deadlock or
Right.
the counties.
And by the way, there was only 9 county commissioners. I can't think of any board that we have 4 of our 9 on. The most that we have is 3, and I can't even, generally, we only have 1.
you know what? Let's go with this. Let's see what happens. And if we have to modify, we modify it. I'm okay with it.
Okay.
So, yeah, so I would like to propose that because this is going to have to go to the full board.
Right.
We will be meeting in July. So before we go modifying interlocal agreements and things,
Right.
let's have the conversation at the council meeting. And what we can do is look at, okay, if you're increasing membership, you're also increasing quorum requirements. You're also increasing, there may be other things I'm sure that Sam identifies. So before we go ahead and start amending documents, let's have the conversation after July. Well, we can meet before then. July's a long way away. But we can come back to you, okay, this would have this impact here, this impact there. And then the other action item that I would have, so we would draft something up for your review and then look to have a continued conversation. And then in the meantime, I would also draft a letter for the chair to review. That would be sent to those members that have, and again, there's municipal also, I'm not pointing any fingers at anybody. But those members
Who are
that
the
have had,
Senator, do we know who are the
Mike-
Miami-Dade municipal? You're
Mike
one.
Weston,
and
Did we have?
Mayor Cordina, who has told me,
He's attended.
he has in the past, but he hasn't for a long time.
Oh.
He told me that he really wanted to, but hasn't been able to. I don't
Does he
know if he
attend
gets
virtually?
excused.
They send me an excuse every day.
Yeah, they're very
Okay.
polite people. So, but the thing is, he had told me that he was thinking of dropping off the council.
Right.
So normally what I would do now is I would write, first of all, to him the courtesy, he's a
So
great
remember,
member.
if he's had excused absences,
Right, but
you
we can
would
ask.
just write him and say, you're
Yes,
sure
sir.
you still want to be on.
Yeah, I think that's important too, because he's a good
Super nice.
good member. He's a really good guy, and he means what he does, and he does really good work. So let's reach out to him and have a conversation with him.
Yes, and he's been very nice. I've tried to encourage him to sit on actually. But I think that he may be ready to, his father passed away, he had more work on him with his business. There's all sorts of different things that have been going.
maybe I could. We've
Yeah.
got friends for you.
Yes, they just find out. I mean, but and that's it.
Okay.
We have a plan?
So yeah,
Yeah,
let's
fine.
draft a letter and we'll look at what might increasing in different scenarios. Scenario A is you increase just the I can't speak, I'm sorry, the municipals by 1 in each county. Scenario B might you increase the municipals, but also the county. What might that mean for quorum and things like that?
And Senator, in
Yes.
reaching to your colleagues, if there's anything I can do to help and support, I'm interested in helping.
No, I appreciate it. I am going to need your help, and maybe what we can do is no, actually, let's talk now because we can't talk offline, I guess. But yeah, look, what we'll do is I will try to get the next time we have see at the next county commission meeting. I'm gonna try to get this as we could do a presentation. Isabel, I'll call you. Frank, I'll call you so we can try to make sure that you're there so they can see the interaction between us and the importance of having representation on the board. I think it's incumbent upon me to do that. And I will absolutely need your help and support on that. We'll get that done and we'll move forward on that road. And I just want to I want to thank you all for this robust conversation. We've had it's been long, but it was an important conversation to have for the longevity of our organization. And I appreciate it. I appreciate getting to the facts, what we can and what we can't do. And I think we landed on a place that can work. And if not, we'll come back and have this conversation and modify this conversation, modify the amendment, the motion, and come up with a new strategy or idea. But I think this is a start, especially for me and for Senator Geller too, to get our colleagues more engaged and more involved and let them know that the work that we're doing, the great work that we're doing, and making sure that our communities are working together. So I appreciate all of you, and I appreciate the conversation.
Thank you so much, Chair Garcia, council members. Chair Garcia, I'll see you and your chief of staff tomorrow.
Yes, heading to Broward. Yes, sir. Heading to Orlando. That's where we're going. Orlando.
And Senator Geller too, so.
Yes.
Thank you.
Senator, save some time for me so we can hang out. All right, guys. So with that, I guess Senator Geller moves, we rise.
Yes, Senator, are you going up to FAC?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Me too. Let's get together for lunch.
Absolutely.
No, drive.
Well, he's driving. If
Yes.
we miss the train, we can go with him.
Okay. Good. I'll see you.
All right, guys.
We're
Thank you.